Welcome to Women's Rugby Rundown 173 for September 23rd to the 29th. The first round of WXV action saw Canada climb to a record second place, while Ireland secured a dramatic last-second win over the Black Ferns, marking only their second ever victory over New Zealand. And WXV3 World Cup qualification remains incredibly tight, with Spain, despite a bonus point win, still needing to secure results against Fiji to avoid being overtaken by Samoa or Hong Kong. Meanwhile, Australia had a stark turnaround from their earlier warm-up against Wales, beating them in WXV2, and the Red Roses dominated the USA in WXV1. We take a look at all of that, and we round up all of the global premier and club competitions worldwide. Get ready for a journey through the latest in women's rugby. This is your Women's Rugby Rundown, and we're about to kick off. Let's get into our 15s women's rugby news. After the first round of WXV action, there was a shakeup in the overall rankings. Canada climbed to second, Ireland moved up to seventh, Italy to 10th, South Africa to 12th, Fiji to 15th, and Samoa to 18th. And of course, a bunch of teams were bumped down as well. And really, what is round two going to bring us? It was such an exciting round one. We're going to get to all of the WXV match results in detail, but we have to look at the qualification for the 2025 Rugby World Cup. We have 14 teams already qualified, with the last two teams coming from WXV3, the winner and the runner-up. And so this is where our eyes have been for this tournament. And of course, Spain got their bonus point win. They could still miss out if they can't defeat Fiji. Hong Kong are well positioned. They've got matches against Madagascar and Netherlands. Samoa needs points from Fiji and hope that the Dutch beat Hong Kong, while the Netherlands remain outsiders, meaning their best ever result against Spain and a bonus point win over Hong Kong. So lots to look at for WXV3. In WXV3, the closest match of the weekend was Netherlands and Samoa. They battled to an 8-8 draw. There was an early score by the Netherlands, but a last-minute try for Samoa was what made the difference, and it was a crucial charge down of the conversion that preserved the tie. Fiji's already qualified for the 2025 Rugby World Cup, so their match was important this weekend just for prep. They were able to beat Hong Kong 38-3, and it was an interesting first match where Fiji kind of didn't get the engines going for a bit, and Hong Kong actually had several moments where they could have taken the lead, but maybe just the inexperience where they didn't go for posts, and they kept putting it in the corner and then couldn't score when it mattered. Spain had the widest margin of the weekend. They had the newcomers Madagascar. They scored 11 tries for an 83-0 victory. In WXV2, South Africa edged Japan 31-24. It was such a back and forth match. Just a pleasure to watch the power of the Springboks, but then the deft ability of Japan to just move around the field. It was a late charge by Sakura, but they weren't able to overcome the powerful Springboks. Australia pulled away in the second half to beat Wales 37-5, and this was a massive turnaround from their warm-up a week ago where Wales won handily. Scotland shut out Italy 19-0. They capitalized on Italy's yellow card and rainy conditions to secure the win. Over in WXV1 action, Ireland led at halftime but needed a last-second try from Aaron King and a clutch conversion by O'Brien to secure a dramatic 29-27 win over the Black Ferns. It's only their second time to ever beat them, and it's 10 years apart from when they did it back in one of the Rugby World Cups. Canada's fast tempo, confident offloads, and spectacular team powered them to a 46-24 win over France. It gets them into second place in the rankings. France did try to fight back, but Canada was able to hold them off. England started their WXV defense against the United States, and they had a dominant 61-21 win. The bright spots for the Eagles were their defense and then 2 tries from Alev Kelters, but nothing that England can't do. Ellie Kildun had 2 tries and 16 points from Zoe Harrison. Just like last year, the lack of crowds at WXV venues in Vancouver, Cape Town, and Dubai is raising concerns, with many agreeing that World Rugby need to rethink the scheduling and locations while still finding a way to support smaller nations. Round 2 of the WXV will kick off this weekend. 2 matches on Friday with a bunch on Saturday and just 1 on Sunday. And picking out our match of the weekend, it's got to be Canada versus Ireland. Just really because we want to see what this team, Ireland, can do with this boon they've gotten from beating the Black Ferns, and Canada's frankly on the rise. London International Sevens Tournament, or LIT, has announced a 2-day Rugby Sevens training camp at Florida's IMG Academy, featuring top coaches like Perry Baker, Nia Tapper, J.K. Anderson, and Irene Gardner. On top of that, they announced that their Super 7 series is the largest event ever in 2025, with 200 teams that'll be across the pond in the UK. And Premier and Club news, Canterbury and Waikato are set for the Dr. Farah Palmer Premiership Final Showdown. after Canterbury pulled off a thrilling 36-31 comeback over Counties Manukau, while Waikato dominated Auckland 69-12. Round 6 of the Arnold Clark Premiership saw wins from Watsonian, Cartha Queens, Stirling County, and unbeaten Kirchdorfen as the top teams start to take shape. Round 1 of Ireland's and Nigeria AIL saw 5 bonus point wins, with UL Bohemian kicking off their title defense by beating Blackrock 31-15. On the opening weekend of France's Elite 1, Lyon, Stade Toulousain, ASM Romana, Grenoble, Amazons, and Stade Bordelais all secured wins. After the second round of Spain's Queen Cup, we're starting to see some leaders emerging. We've got Krat, St. Cugat, Cisneros, and Crocs. After 3 rounds of Belgium's Ladies D1, Ghent leads with 14 points, but it's starting to get tight there in the 2nd, 3rd, through 6th positions. That's it for us this week. Of course, there is more news on our site at yscrugby.com. Never miss an episode of Women's Rugby Rundown by subscribing on Spotify, Patreon, YouTube, or any of your favorite social media platforms.